Hello, my name is Benjamin Miles. I just wanted to go over a quick uh, overview on how to create formulas in Excel. So this is the Microsoft version of Excel, not as good as the version of Excel for Microsoft, but iOS is a little bit different. But the formulas work the same. So today I wanted to talk about text. This is text formulas. Because the thing I'm doing this with is lead generation. With lead generation, you need to be able to spend your time efficiently and effectively in order to maximize your results. If you're doing this, or you want a virtual assistant to do lead generation for you, what you want to do is create this Excel file for yourself beforehand. That way, if you send it to the virtual assistant, they're able to do it quicker and with less failures and mess ups. And if you're doing it yourself, you're able to do it quicker. So the first one I want to do is, let's do research. So you do a keyword list. Right? We're going to incorporate this sheet to we're going to use Boolean words or Boolean operators. So keyword list, so let's say it's the target market is hikers. So it's hikers, camping, and let's say outdoors. Then up here, let's say we're doing it by city, by state, and by country. So at the city, right? So basically the cell next to these titles will be the cell. So I'm going to color code these for you. Let's make that blue, this one orange, and this one red. This keyword list is right here. Now over here we're going to say search criteria. Now for this we're going to do equals, right? We're going to do equals that cell, and then we're doing the and symbol, which on Mac is Shift 7, and on Microsoft is also Shift 7. Then you want quotations, because that's saying that you want the text cell, so it's going to be a city's name, and then it's going to add in the next cell, or the next piece of text, the next cell. So we're going to do quotations marks, space, quotation marks, and. Now what this is telling it to do is to put the cell, so to put this content here, then to put a space in between, because unless you tell it to put a space in between, it won't do that. So then we're doing right here, so boom, so A10. Then we're going to do one other thing. We're going to switch this. We wanted to do space using, so I'm going to redo this. Up here I'm going to put Boolean operators, right? So the most common is and, or, and or and not. So right here for keywords, I'm going to say baking, right? Which doesn't have to do with the others. So I'm going to show you how to use it. So city, we're going to say Boston. Okay, so Boston for state, we're going to say Massachusetts for country, USA. So we have and or not list, we have hikers, outdoors, and then baking. For search criteria, you're going to do equals, Boston, and quotation marks, space, quotation marks, and the and word, and quotation marks, space, quotation marks, and and hikers, and quotation marks, and space, quotation marks, and not, again, and quotation marks, space, quotation marks, and bacon. So if you hit enter, you get Boston and hikers not baking. Right, but now if you drag the cell down, right, what it's doing is it, of course, brings down the cells. Now instead of this, let's say this is still, instead of doing that and dragging it down, what you can do is what I like to do is I just go in here, Command C or Control C, Command C for Macs, Control C for Windows, and then Command V or Control V for paste. Right, this is going to copy and paste. Quick shortcut. So now we want Boston to be there, and then you can switch out E3's and, okay. So let's say we want, instead of that, we want it to say, okay, E3 is and, okay, that's fine. Instead of A10, let's put in camping now. Enter. Then you do the same, Command V. Instead of A10, we're going to switch that to outdoors. Enter. Then what you want is search criteria. Search criteria. So then search criteria, and you do copy. So for paste, so search criteria, pasting. Now, the reason we want to copy these and paste them over here is because we want to use values only. That way, you don't have, if you go over here and you go, so if I copy this, right, if I copy the cell, Command C, and I paste it somewhere, right, I'm getting the formula. But if you want to really quickly go through and do searches online with these criteria, you want to copy and paste and have a place where you're getting that information from, right here. So, So let's say Boolean searches. So that's the first thing you can do. So as you can see here, you can switch this up. So if you wanted to, you could do something like this. You can also, instead of having all these cells, if we go, okay, we keep the B3, so that's Boston. Then we go, and you don't want these separate cells up here for the Boolean operators because there's only 3. You can do AND. So let's start over. So Boston and quotation marks, space, the word AND, space, quotation marks, the AND symbol. Hikers, this will be Boston and hikers. The reason that Boolean putting the cells like this one, so the difference is with this you have a separate cell that you're finding the information. So now let's say you wanted to change this completely. You can go and switch this to, let's say, Apple. Right, and it switches your search for you. So the reason I had you build the cells is you can go down here. You can go double click. You can go to move a copy. Then we want to create a copy. Hit OK. Right, so now we have a copy. So now, because this is, okay, search criteria, keywords, but because this formula is already here, you can just change these to, let's say, instead of Boolean operators, you go and say it's fruit, like I was saying. Now you can go through and switch your different labels. So I always make my labels bold, just so you know what's happening. So that's a little rendition on how to use Excel with formulas and with text. I will go into more detail in a later video. Thanks.